What's up, guys? 7 degrees Tuesday morning, about 9 o'clock. Can you not see me? Can you not see that far? You don't know who this is? Can you not smell me? So I just thought I'd show you what feeding the animals looks like. Normally it takes about 15 minutes to get them all done. With the snow and everything, it's about 40 minutes probably. I always fight with myself about filming because I can just hurry up and get it done, or to film it, it takes 3 times longer. So I've already put empty water bowls on the four-wheeler. I've already hauled about, these are 5-gallon buckets. I put about 4 gallons and drive really slow and put them in this stock tank here. So this tank is fine anytime we get just a little bit of ice, but anything sustained, I've really drained it down. So I dump about 16 gallons of water into this, 12 gallons of water into this, and I use less than that every time. So it's just always topped off. I'm having to move it by hand though, because I have a frost-free spigot here and it's frozen. And I know you're like, well, John, you left the hose on there. The hose is empty. Anytime it gets cold, we run the hose downhill. This terminates into a piece of a hole full of gravel, about 36 inches under the ground, but it's frozen here. The handle piece is frozen. So rather than mess with that, take the chance of snapping it and have to address it later, just move it by hand. And that just means I've got a hot water line, comes out the back of the garage, and I fill off of that. So I've already come in here throwing feed. We use a layer pellet for everything. The ducks really do nothing for us. There's ground in there with wood chips and hay bales and shit they can get to. They choose to sit out here on the snow. Their water hole is filled up. I'm just giving them bowls of water. That lasts about 12 hours right now. And they drink it down. Before I go down the hill, I'll fill these back up. And then the chickens are kind of sitting, hanging out in there. They've got perches up high under the tarps, and they've got nest boxes they can get in. So I'm feeding them extra corn right now, just extra fat, extra food. Feed bin came up here. All the scraps from the last day or two are sitting right there. They're not even touching them right now. And then I'll come over here, feed chickens. These Brute trash cans, these 35 gallons, I think they're 35 gallons. These Brute Tough Made, they're made by Rubbermaid Commercial Products. These are amazing. I've got a bunch of metal ones. The metal ones, the handles always leak through on the top. You could epoxy coat them or Gorilla them or whatever, I guess, but these just work great. We don't have a squirrel issue anywhere here. Mice and rats are not chewing through them. Squirrels could, but the dogs keep the squirrels out of all this area here. She has ice on her, literally icicles just matted and growing on her. The dogs have hay bales. They've got dog loos. They've got dog loos with straw in them. And the puppy, he just likes to, he's just chewing. They sleep out here at the foot of a tree, and then the ice just, it just snows on them. This is their choice. They just love it out here. Look at her just rolling around in the snow. Sister's somewhere here. They've also got lean-tos with doors. They can get in there. Those are full of straw and hay bales and stuff in there. But they just like it out here. So I'm gonna toss a thing of feed into the chicken pen here. That will kind of occupy the chickens. And I'll go in and just grab eggs. I don't have to do that. It just keeps them from mobbing the door. They want to rush up on the door, and inevitably you'll just catch one of them in the crack under the door in the ground. So I throw some feed, go in there, do whatever I need to do, give them some water, and then take another bucket of feed in there. And it's just it's a 1 gallon pitcher I use. These things are from Target. They look like this. They're from Rubbermaid. They crack eventually. We throw them away. I think they cost like $2 maybe. We always keep a dozen of those on hand. I've got hooks and we just hang them everywhere. Every feed container has one. And then as I collect eggs, those go inside. We rinse the eggs off and they just go from there. There's another one. What I'm having happen right now is I'm having to come out a couple times during the day because the eggs are just cracking. So I have to kind of check every few hours. And we're getting by the time we get them, about half the eggs have already cracked. Could you come out here? Sure, we could. We could come out here every hour and have no issues. But the dog, I'm literally trying, he's playing with her and I'm trying to video it. And every time I turn around, it's like he senses the cameras on them. I've noticed that with animals a lot. When you try to film them, I've noticed it's almost like the camera emits something and they just stop what they're doing. Even if they don't know you're there, they know that camera's there. It's weird. So could we come out every hour or so, get the eggs? Sure we could. We just don't need them. We're producing way more eggs than we need. It almost gets to a point where the hassle of suiting up, and like right now I've got on I have on a t-shirt, one of our midweight hoodies, a heavy smart wool sweater, and then the expeditionary hoodie, a beanie with 2 hoods on. Well, I guess just 1 hood right now. And then I took the top of a beanie and cut the top out and I use it as this gaiter. I guess it's called a gaiter. I know they make stuff for that. And after this, I'll definitely be looking at some other cold weather gear. Probably some boots. I'm still wearing Solomon shoes, smart wool socks. And I'm good for about an hour out here. My toes are cold right now. I've just got on these spider gloves. I need some better gloves for sure. My hands are toasty right now, but when I start dipping into that water and they get a little wet towards the end of this evolution here, I'll feel that for sure. So some better shoes. I know they make muck boots. I hate muck boots. They just don't have tread. I've got a pair that does have tread, and then it's just, if you're looking at muck boots, I would advise getting ones that have zippers on the side. Hey, get out of there. She's trying to steal this egg. Get out of there. Get out of there. She already got the egg. There's just some residue there, it looks like. You'd be amazed how far these dogs can reach into this pen here and grab a hold of these eggs here. So we let them have some of them. It's not a big deal right now. If we relied on those eggs, we would definitely just put some cinder blocks in those corners there. So I'm just going to work here and see if I can stage this camera somewhere where you guys can kind of see it. Here's what I'm talking about. That egg has frozen and cracked the shell. This one's okay. This one here, you can probably see a little better. It's just split. You could totally take them inside and eat them right now. Let them frost and eat them, but we're not gonna mess with it. Here, you want one of these? I give them to the dogs. I probably shouldn't. It just teaches them to eat eggs. But our eggs are typically inside nest boxes. We use these Featherman nest boxes. And then the chickens are typically where the dogs can't get to them. Once we collect the eggs, feed the birds, by the time we make the rotation, they've eaten all the feed, we'll usually let the chickens out. The dogs want to get in there and eat all their feed up. They just like it because it's something different. So we don't, to conserve the feed and conserve the eggs, it's a small price to pay for the security the dogs give us. Could we train them not to eat eggs? Probably. It's just not a concern to us. One day we might regret that. So that's one pin, altogether 2 usable eggs. That seems low, but I pulled eggs yesterday kind of late to keep, just to be able to get some before they froze. Get out of there. I don't need no puppy nose on there. No eggs in that one at all, but there's several broken on the ground, so my guess is they froze and they ate them. That bowl's frozen now, so that'll go on the four-wheeler. I'll take it back inside. It'll defrost. We'll dump the water out of it. I'll grab another bowl right now and re-up their water. Those chickens are eating snow off my shoes. You can actually take these, smack them a lot of times, and the perfect ice block will come out. The dogs like to play with those. Get out of there. What you don't see is all the dogs are over here. They know these eggs are in these pitchers. Get out of there. They know these eggs are here, and there's not many of them, but they'll try to get them when you turn around, and they will fight over them. That's kind of what you're about to see, a little dog fight here, and that's because these eggs are here. So that one, I got 3 out of that one that are good. So you gotta, a lot of times I go to put them in and they'll bang and you'll end up cracking one of them. So food's done. Got to give that last one water. Get out of there. So 5 eggs total right now. There was maybe 20 total that have cracked and broken that are no good. So that's the take right now. But when we come up here, the sun's out right now. It's warming up. Come out here in a couple hours, there'll probably be another dozen eggs out here. Okay, so all of that's done. I need a couple bags of feed that I'm running low on up here. I don't want to mess with it, and I'm gonna have to come up here next time I come up anyways and take the use the four-wheeler to bring it up. But the thought is, it's tolerable out here right now. The sun has kind of gone behind the clouds, and it's probably not going to be any warmer out here. So while it's tolerable, rather than put it off till later, just go get the work done, which is what I talk about all the time. The difference between guys that we talk about that do an amazing amount of shit and guys that are just, the bare minimum guys, it's just that they did the shit that they didn't want to do when it needed to be done. Being able to keep the equipment you're going to use inside is a game changer. The first day it snowed, well, it iced, it rained the night before and then iced. When I went out to use the four-wheeler, the stick shift was frozen. The start button was frozen, so it took some doing to get those defrosted. So that made me realize that I needed to keep this stuff inside. I know this is common sense where you guys have real winters. We're super lucky that we don't have crazy summers, we don't have crazy winters. We almost always have water that can be moved because it's not frozen. It's not a big deal. It would be uncomfortable without air conditioning here. It would be uncomfortable without heat, but it's manageable in Middle Tennessee. So to be able to have just your tractor or your mower or whatever you're going to use to travel with not frozen is huge. So just being able to put it in the garage, and then I can bring frozen water bowls in here. Anything that froze that needs to be unfrosted over a period of hours, it can just sit here. So I could just change chicken waterers, you know, big ones, bulk ones. It would take them about a day to freeze up. I could just bring the slushy ones in here, let them defrost, and put them back. Right now I'm just moving it with bowls because it's faster, it's more convenient, not a big deal. We're building a big carport on the front. It's actually 5,000 feet concrete, drains, the whole deal, big gutters, water collection. And that will take care of all of the little problems we have in the future with any kind of ice. And the whole structure is built out of steel, everything. So snow load, ice load, not a problem. That new carport will actually be structurally stronger than this building that's been here over 30 years now. So just little things to think about. I know it's common sense to most people, but if you live someplace where you're starting to see some kind of winters that you've never had, maybe this will just help somebody out. It's 1:38 now. I'm about 4 or 5 hours past when I fed the animals. So peak temperature is supposed to be 3 o'clock today, and it's supposed to get up to 20,
Not even
maybe. We've had sunlight the last couple hours, water's dripping here and there, so we'll go up and look at the water and give everybody, re-water them. Really their ice, it won't be ice yet, it won't be frozen, it'll just kind of be starting to. So we'll dump that water out, put new water in, and check that out. Right now, running to Tractor Supply, I just need some more rabbit nest boxes. We've got a lot of rabbits, so we need to address that. And what else? Really, I just want to see what the road looks like. I've got girls here today. I should have more people here today. Not a big deal, but I don't have anybody on the cleanup table right now, so I'm just going to check that out.